Hey, what's up you guys? It's IAmTheLionRider, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create your own brand new scenery props for Planet Zoo. Now, I will say this is going to be a more elaborate tutorial, so if you're not already comfortable with replacement mods, I highly recommend you look at those tutorials on my channel before going into this one. However, if you are comfortable with making replacement mods, let's get started on making a brand new scenery piece. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to locate your OVL data folder, and we're going to create a brand new folder that is going to house our mod. Now, it is very important that you name it something that is after CO so that your content folders actually get loaded in first, and something that is exactly 8 characters long. So in our case, I've decided that we're going to be making the Green Anaconda prop mod. So I'm going to name my folder Green Ana. Now that that's all set, we need to grab the files from whatever content folder we are going to be basing our mod off of. In this case, I chose Content 5 since that appears to be the easiest content folder for creating scenery props. However, I've created wall sets and stuff that use some of the other content folders, and they work just as fine. So if you wanted to create a wall set, you could definitely use Content 4 or something. But for our case, we're going to be using Content 5. We're going to go in our Green Ana folder and paste in all of those files. Now that we have all of these files, we can delete anything that we don't need. So right off the bat, since we're making a scenery prop, we can delete animals through cinematics and delete those. Next up, we're going to start creating the manifest. So you're going to go into the manifest and then right click and open with Notepad++. If you don't already have Notepad++, please download it. Next up, where it says name, it'll say Content 5. We're going to change it to be our content folder name. So in my case, we're going to do Green Ana. Save that. And then where it says ID, you're going to want to go to the website that I've provided in the link in the description and go to uuidgenerator.net, where it'll create a custom ID. You hit copy, and then we're just going to paste in our custom ID. Once that's all set, we are done with our manifest. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to work on our init file. So if you have the brand new version of Cobra Tools, you should be all set here. So you're going to go to File, Open, locate your folder. So we'll go to OVL Data and then Green Ana, and then we'll open up our init file. So this is our init. So this is the probably easiest one that we're going to go with. And we're going to sort by alphabet, and we're going to be grabbing just the names of the files that we need for our thing. So the first step in this process is called hashing. So it's essentially renaming. So what we're going to do is find anywhere where it says Content 5, and we're going to hash it using this box to whatever our folder name is. So in this case, we're going to name it Green Ana. We're going to hit Control H, or if you go to Edit, you can hit Hash. And then as you see here, it changed the name of the file. Next up, we're going to want to look for the next file, which is going to be where we get our signs from. So in this case, I'm using the animal signs from Content 5 as a base for all of my props. And we're going to change this name to something that is the same amount of characters but represents our mod. So where it says DLC 5, we're going to change that so that it says, in my case, G and Anac. We'll do Anac for Anaconda. And we'll do Control H, hash it. Great. Now this step is very important. You need to go to File, Save, and overwrite your init. Yes. And now, to clear the cache, and a lot of people don't know what that means, trust me, you just want to do it. You hit Open, and then open any other OVL folder. This is just very important because if you don't do this step between every little step that you do, you are going to end up with some issues where OVL tools aren't going to let you open files, it'll have string buffer errors, etc. So it's very important that you do that with every step. So we're going to go back to our init, and now we are going to actually verify that our names were changed, and we're going to go into our Green Ana folder, and then go to New Folder, and we're going to make an init file. So this init folder is going to be blank by default, but we're going to drag in the files that we need. So in this case, we need Anac animal signs, and we need, it should say Scenery Green Ana. So these are the two files that you will need. You will need the scenery version of whatever folder you're in. It'll either say Scenery, Content 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. and then whatever specific asset package your actual prop is located in. So as you can see, these are our two. So we're going to open these with Notepad++, and we're going to get this file. So it's very simple. It's just renaming. You go to search, replace, and we're going to replace everything that says content5 with our folder name. So in this case, it's Green Anna. Replace all in open documents. And then we're going to also replace where it says DLC5 with our code name, which was Anac. Replace all. Verify that the names are correct. They are. Excellent. So next up, we are going to basically create a brand new init. So if we go to File, New, and then select that init folder, if we open it up, as you can see, we have our two files, and we could do File, Save, and then overwrite our init. Hit yes. Now our init is done. So we can literally delete this init folder if we want. So next up, we're going to do asset package extras. So we're going to go File, Open, and then open up our asset packages. And just like the init file, we're going to hash everything. So wherever it says DLC5, we're going to Control H, so it says Anac, or whatever your code name is. And wherever it says content5, we're going to change that to specifically say Green Anna for our case. So we have that. That should be good. We'll do File, Save, Asset Package Extras, yes. Like I said, important. Open up another file. We'll open up the init in this case, and then go back into Asset Package. Now, the next step is going to be important, and this is going to be DAT editing. So DAT editing is just a way of basically getting around a lot of the more complicated stuff that we used to have to do. And essentially, it's another form of renaming. So once again, you're going to now use the capitalized versions of those files that you had. So we're going to do content5 capitalized and change that to Green Anna capitalized. Then we're going to go up where it says Edit and hit DAT Edit. Excellent. Next up, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go DLC5 capitalized and change that to our code name, which was Anac. Edit, DAT Edit, and then we're done. And we just hit Save, save over our asset package, and our asset package is now also done. So our next step is going to be to do the main file. So if we open up our main file, it looks very similar to asset package, but the first thing we're going to want to do is to clear any paths that we don't want. So in this case, our asset package 5 has the animals, asset package, and audio. So we don't want the animals, so we can just hit minus, and we don't want the audio, so we can also hit minus. So the only thing we'll be left with is our asset package extras. So we'll hit File, Save, save our main, reopen it by opening up a second file. We'll open up our init, then reopen our main. And very similar to the asset package that we just did, we are going to hash everything. So we're going to change everything that says content5 to our code name, which is Green Anna. Hash that with Control H. Next up, we're going to do DLC5. We're going to use our code name Anac. Hash that. File, save, and save our main. So now we are going to open init and then open main. And we are going to create a brand new folder for our main files. So we're going to open up our main, and we are going to sort by file type, and we are going to look for every file that is of the Lua file type and drag that into our main folder. Now right off the bat, you can sort by type because we don't need any of the Lua meta files, so we can delete those, or the bin files. So this is what you should be left with. And the last file that we are going to need is where it says Green Anna, whatever your content folder name is, Modular Scenery. So we're going to drag that in. So to edit our Luas, it's very simple. For the most part, we are going to be deleting basically everything with the exception of this one, which is databases dot whatever your code name is. So we can go in here with Notepad++ and delete everything below local park settings. Similarly, we would delete everything in this folder as well. And then just keep going through all of them, deleting below the local file. So now that we're here in the databases.greenAnna folder, this is the one that we're going to want to keep an eye on. So we're going to go with this folder and call it search, replace, and change everything where it says content5 to be Green Anna. So replace all. Save that. Next up, and this is very important to get the formatting right or else your mod won't load. you're going to want to start after tload and delete every file up until where it says green Anna modular scenery or whatever your code name is. Then the next step is to delete everything all the way down until this last bracket. So you should have a comma, bracket, comma, tcreate to merge. Then you're going to want to delete, again, everything down to modular scenery. And then you're going to want to delete everything all the way down until you get 3 consecutive brackets. So if you want to pause the video, you can look at this file format, and this is going to be the one that you're going to want to replicate for your own Lua file for the databases. After that, you just go through the rest of the databases and then delete as normal, just everything. So now that we did all of our Lua files, we can start on our FDB file. So to edit an FDB file, you're going to need a program called SQLite Studio, and you can download that in the description. And this is going to be the program that you're going to want to edit everything with in the actual FDBs. So to get started, we're going to actually go into habitat object props and just delete all of our enrichment items, because otherwise you're going to have a couple of issues. So we're just going to delete those right off the bat by using this little minus sign and then hitting the check mark to commit the actual transaction. So next up, you're going to go to the modular scenery parts folder. And this folder is full of a lot of different props. So you're going to want to find whatever one you are going to be using as a base. So in our case, we're going to be using the DLC 5 animal signs as a base. And so besides them, we can delete literally every other thing. So we can quickly go through and go all the way down and delete all of these files. So next up, we are going to basically choose how many props you're going to want to make. So in my case, I want to create 6 different poses for my Anaconda, so that'll be 6 props. But most of you are probably just going to want the one, so you would just use probably the Barbarossa sign, which is totally fine, and that'll be it. So next up, you're going to want to change everywhere it says DLC 5 to be our 4-letter code name, so in my case it's Anac, and do that for all of them. And next up, you're going to want to change the content pack. Most people are going to want it to be base game, and you can just copy and paste this. But if you want it to be a lawful good, and let's say you're doing something like a penguin sign or something like I am, you could also change that to be the corresponding content pack of content pack 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, depending on the DLC. Next up, everything else should already be up to date, except the UI data. So you're going to want to go to UI data, and in this file you're going to change everywhere it says DLC 5 in the label text strings and the description text strings to be your 4-letter code name, or whatever name would be depending. So once you've done all of that, we are actually done with our modular scenery FTP. So we are going to reopen our main folder by opening up Init and then opening up main again. Verify that our FTBs have been changed. And now we are going to edit our main. So we'll do DLC5 capitalized, change that to be Anac capitalized, edit, edit. Then we'll do content 5 capitalized, change that to be green Anna, edit, edit, file, save our main, reopen it by opening up Init and then opening up main again. And then we are going to drag all of these edited files into our main folder. We will save it, save over our main, yes. And now, if we load up Planet Zoo, and we did everything correctly, we should have 6 blank props in our actual game. Now, if you didn't do this correctly, if your game isn't loading on the Cobra menu or you're not able to get into the game or something, that means you likely did something wrong. So definitely verify that your files are correct. Like I said, what we're hoping for is after you've done all of the previous steps, you should be able to load your game and get 6 blank icons in your actual construction piece set. So the first thing we're going to do is actually edit our UI. So if we go into our UI folder, we'll go to Textures. We can delete every folder except for Scenery Content 5. So we can delete all of these, and we're actually going to change where it says content 5 to be, you guessed it, green Anna. Great. So next up, we're going to go into the OVL and also change this name to be green Anna. So that is all set. So now we'll do file UI open, and we're going to open up our scenery underscore green Anna that was in our UI folder. So you're going to get a bunch of texture files, but we can sort by alphabetical. And we are looking for the DLC5 stuff. So very similar to before, we are going to hash everything that says DLC5 and change it to our 4-letter code name of Anac. Save that. And then that is it. So that is all we would literally have to do to actually get UI working. Once we actually get our model in-game, you'll want to take a picture and then edit this file as you normally would any other OVL. Similarly, let's actually do the localized folder. So we're going to go to English, United States, because that's the language I speak, and we are going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to look for where it says DLC5, change it to Anac by hashing, file, save, and then we are going to save our lock file. So we'll go to English, United States lock. So right now, it would be an absolute duplicate of the prop that we base it off of, so like the binturong sign, whatever. But we can change that really quick by changing our lock file. So if we make a brand new folder called lock and then grab our file names, so let's just find where we actually changed it. So we'll look up Anac, building part Anac, and we will drag all of these into our lock folder. So our Barbarossa sign, as an example, will be green Anaconda 01, file save, and we'll just go down the list and do green Anaconda 02, 03, 04, 05, and 06. Now we can delete the rest since we didn't use them. And now, if we just reopen our lock file, like I said, open up Init, then reopen our localized English United States lock, we can drag in these files and hit File Save, Lock. So now, if you load into the game again, you can verify that your files are properly named to be whatever you change the name to be, as well as that they actually have UI displaying whatever you want them to display. Now that we've verified that our UI and lock files are all set, we can delete our lock folder, and we can actually now go in and actually make our props functional. So we're going to go into Environment. We can delete all of our habitat stuff since we're not using it. We can go into Sceneries, delete all our facility stuff because we're not using it. And we can delete all of our reward statues, and we will have our DLC5 folder, which we'll change to Anac. Where it says DLC5 animal signs, we'll change that to Anac animal signs, and then finally DLC5 Anac animal signs in the actual OVL and OVS. And in a second, we'll open those files up. So now we've opened up our Anac animal signs folder, and we are going to go through and just do our normal stuff. So hashing everywhere where it says DLC5 to say Anac, and then immediately file saving because that's all we need to do. So file save, and then overwrite our OVL, reopen our OVL, and now we are going to dat edit, if we go to file type, all of these material names. So we're going to want to rename where it would normally say DLC5 animal signs Barbarossa, capitalize, make sure we're doing this, underscore mat. We're going to copy this, and we're going to dat edit it so that it's Anac underscore animal signs underscore Barbarossa.mat. Now specifically for whatever your prop is, you're going to want to type check mark this little new species hash. Next up, you're just going to go to edit, dat edit as normal. Excellent. And then you're just going to go through and do this for all of your FGM files. Excellent. Now that we've edited all of the material names, we can save that really quickly. And now we're actually going to have to open these files inside of Blender. So if we want to do edit, unpack, make a folder on whatever desktop you want. I'll just do it in pictures, I guess, and we'll name it Anaconda. Select the folder. So that'll now unpack all of our actual files, because we're going to need to edit one more thing, and that's going to be all of the LOD bone names. So we're going to open up Blender, and we're going to actually go File, Import, MDL2. And just for the sake of this tutorial, I will just be doing a single Anaconda prop live. But we can go into Anaconda, and we'll do the Barbaroussa as a base. So here is our Barbaroussa as a basis. And we are going to want to go to the right side, and where it says DLC5 animal sign Barbaroussa, we're going to go down into here, and where it says DLC5 animal sign Barbaroussa underscore L5, we're going to want to copy all of these names except for the physic joint. And you're going to want to do this for every single sign in the game, because we're going to have to edit all of these. So we're going to want to take this name, DLC5 underscore animal sign underscore Barbaroussa underscore L0, and then we are going to edit this to say Anac underscore animal sign Barbaroussa underscore L0, edit that, and then we have to do this for all 6 LODs. So L0 through L5. Excellent. So now if we do File, Save over our animal sign, we will now be able to actually load in whatever this prop is into Planet Zoo. So from this point on, literally the entire process is very, very similar to how you would have been editing any previous mod. So in our case, we're going to be doing the Anaconda. So let me just spawn that in really quick. So here is my Anaconda prop. Now I will say I use the yellow Anaconda as a base for the actual model. So what I'm going to actually do is kind of scale it up a little bit. So highlight it, scale it up a bit, probably about to the size of the Barbaroussa sign, to be honest. And that looks excellent. So next up, we are going to want to make sure that the UVs are the same. So in this case, the Barbaroussa sign has a UV0 and a UV1. So we'll change our Anaconda object so that it has UV0 as well as UV1. And then we are going to join the two objects by hitting Control-J in Blender. And then from this point, I can literally just select one vertex in the Barbaroussa sign, hit Control-L, and delete all of the vertices. And now I can just copy and paste all of my other LODs and get my Anaconda in-game. So we can just do all the LODs, copy and pasting as usual. Around LOD 3, we'll add a decimate modifier, just so that it's slightly more optimized in game. And obviously this won't matter that much. And a thing I actually forgot to do is to actually go into modeling edit mode, select all my vertices, and weight the actual model. So let me do that. So where it says DLC5 animal, we're going to assign all of the bones to that, just so that we make sure that it has all of the proper paint weights. Because if we didn't do that, the actual model would not be rendered correctly. So now that we have assigned all of our weight paints, we can now just File, Export, MDL2, and we are going to find our actual file folder. So we can probably just go into here, copy this link, go into here, and oh, actually, I'm mistaken. It was in Pictures, Anaconda, and then we use the Barbaroussa sign. And now we'll do Edit, Inject, go to Pictures, go to Anaconda, Export, inject our Barbaroussa sign, save that. Now we'll do Enact Animal Signs, And now quickly we will just get our texture files in order. So very similar to how we did it before. We are going to go to Pictures, Anaconda, find our Barbarossa sign. So in this case, we'll open the ambient occlusion inside of Photoshop. So here's our ambient occlusion, and I already have provided all of my textures ahead of time. So we are going to take this snake texture and paste it on top of our ambient occlusion, save as, PNG, overwrite our ambient occlusion, and do this for all of our other materials. So now that we've done all of the textures, we can inject all of them into the actual OVL. So we can do that, file save, animal signs, yes. And now, if we finally load up Planet Zoo and actually place down our, I guess, Barbarossa sign in this case, we would actually have our brand new modular scenery for Planet Zoo. So this is the green Anaconda modular scenery. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. Now, obviously, if you would like, you can obviously change stuff like the tags inside of the main OVL so that they don't say stuff like plastic or whatever. In my case, I might change it to say South America as the content tag. Similarly, I might also want to change the UI, of course. But I hope that this tutorial will be useful for creating any modular scenery. And if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments, and I will be able to make maybe a follow-up video with answering any of the actual questions. So thank you for watching today's tutorial, and I will see you next time.